Hey there, welcome to Emantex AI Academy. This is Asif. Today we are going to be discussing a pretty controversial topic, the impact of AI on the human brain. Now this was pretty controversial a few months back. There was this study from MIT. It was an initial study there, so it was not an actual like published and peer-reviewed paper, but they did publish a study on the impact of ChatGPT on the human brain, and what are the side effects of usage or over-reliance on an AI platform like ChatGPT or the multitudes of AI platforms that are available today. There are also counter studies on this topic from Harvard University, and a lot of these we can see in our daily lives. We don't need any MIT or you don't need a study from MIT or Harvard just to tell you that you are overusing AI or you are becoming over reliant on it and things like that. There's something you can see in our own lives and how it impacts us. So let's try to dive into a bit into this topic. So we have this paper from MIT. The paper was titled "Your Brain on ChatGPT: Accumulation of Cognitive Debt when Using an AI Assistant for Essay Writing Task." So basically, what was the study that they did was they created three groups of people, and the participants, there were 54 people, and they broke them up into three groups, where in the first group was given no tools. They weren't allowed to conduct research using the web or AI. They were supposed to write articles completely based on research that they have done themselves, referring to say physical books or PDFs and all of that. The second group was allowed to use the web, and they were allowed to use Google search and come back with content taken from Google or web, and then compose them into articles that they would write. And the third group were allowed to use LLMs, in this case ChatGPT.com, and they studied what is the final result from all of this, and the key findings from this, as I know this was discussed some time back too, but the key findings was reduce neural activation with ChatGPT. So they had all of them wear these EEG monitors which measure the brain activity, and then based on that they were able to say that when you're using AI, there's a tendency that people will stop using higher functions of the brain. So there's reduced neural activation when you're using AI. I mean, that's expected. Say if you replaced AI with a human being, I was told to write an article. I outsourced it to somebody else, and I told him, please write this article for me, and he gives it back to me. It's almost the same when using AI. So you're outsourcing the work that was allocated to you to someone else. And there are two modes in which you can outsource, right? You can outsource as a complete something that is completely given to someone else. I don't care what he does, and I'll just look at the final output when it is done. Or I can outsource it to someone as a collaborator. He will work with me to write the article. So he may bring in the research, he may bring in composition, and I will review it. We'll work together and we'll compose the article. So there are two ways of doing it. More often than not, people who use AI use it as a complete outsider. You just give it a task, it does it. Very few people in general use it as a collaborative system. So what is seen here is there's a tendency of people to have over-reliance on AI. In that case, there's a reduced neural activation with ChatGPT. So people are completely relying on ChatGPT to come up with the right answers, or in this case, articles. There is higher textual homogeneity because ChatGPT will write text in the same manner. So all of the articles look pretty much the same. There are recurring patterns and all of that. And that's something we have discussed in a separate video, wherein we talk about how these AI agents actually work. So they work on the concept of aggregation of data. So they consume large amounts of data and they process it and they come up with responses based on the inputs that they have received. So more often than not, although the output may vary by there might be some level of variance, but more or less it's going to be pretty similar. And that's what they noticed in this particular study. Third was lower retention and sense of ownership. So when these authors were asked about the articles that they have written, they couldn't recollect the content of the article. They couldn't discuss the points that they had written that were present in the article that they had submitted, because they had just taken it from ChatGPT and passed it on without even reviewing it, or even if they reviewed it, they were unable to recollect what they had submitted. And that was something which was observed. Then they switched teams, and what they observed was teams that were using ChatGPT, when they switched over to other teams. So the members who used ChatGPT and switched over to other teams, they still continued to show that kind of lower neural activity. I think this can be taken with a pinch of salt, because this is just a single study. It is not peer reviewed. It is not, and so if we can take this part with a pinch of salt. But what's the takeaway for us? And this is something we see in our lives, right? I mean, you don't need to treat ChatGPT as something magical or something that's, or even AI. There are too many AI platforms today. ChatGPT is just one of them. Um, so you treat it as an outsourced worker, right? You treat it as someone to whom you are giving tasks, and you could hire a personal assistant who does these tasks for you. Now you could treat that personal assistant as a complete autonomous person, that whatever they do you don't need to review, you just pass it on as your work, which is not, I mean, if you think about it, it's not right. And the other way is, you work with the assistant, and that's where you would grow in whatever task you're doing. So there might be two type of tasks. There might be a simpler menial task which you want to offload, and you don't care about how they were done, you just care about the results. You don't, and it has no impact on your person as such. Even if I would have hired a person to do it, I wouldn't need to go and observe everything that he does. Say for example, you hire someone for managing your company accounts. I don't need to understand how he's doing the accounts, although I should have a general idea that he's not taking me for a ride. Um, but at the same time, I would be more concerned with the final result of the account statement. Similarly, when using AI platforms, we need to look at what is our domain of expertise. So, for example, if I was using ChatGPT for medical, some medical analysis, as I received some prescription from my doctor, and I'm trying to review the prescription. It makes sense that if ChatGPT simplifies the task for you, you don't over rely on it. You do some independent research too, because this is something very, very sensitive, and it impacts your health and your life. Whereas for other smaller tasks where I want to compose. A get well soon card, or I want to send out a simple email to my family members, and I don't want to spend the time to sit and compose something really long, and I use ChatGPT to help me write that letter or write that article or write that email for me. And you are fine with that small level of variance, that it doesn't give the personal touch, but it helps you write something um, which would have taken a lot of time other than that, which you don't want to spend. So that's fine. In that case, this reliance on ChatGPT or AI tools for menial tasks where you don't want to get into the details of how those tasks were done is fine. But things that are relevant to your life, they are important to you, they are relevant to your career. These are things that you need to treat AI more as a collaborator rather than as an outsourced worker. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.